Okay, the first item, oh, you're going to take the vote.
Was that you, make the second? Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey? Yes. Boyle?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
She's in the restroom.
Matthew?
Yes.
And Scrubber?
Yes.
Okay, the first item on the agenda this evening is the public hearing on the Beck property annexation and zoning. Does anybody have any comments regarding this action? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn the public hearing on the Beck property annexation and call the regular village board meeting to order. Would you all join me in a moment of silence? Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I think we have two awards that we would like to present first this evening. Dennis, would you go first?
Sure.
Please.
Want to do the presentation? Or you want to present?
No, well, oh, sure, yeah. Okay. But why don't you announce?
Okay. Hello, I'm Dennis German. I'm the secretary with the Police Pension Board and also sergeant with the Chatham Police Department. It's our honor tonight to award this Community Service Award to James Friel for his 21 years of service. He was appointed back in 1994 to serve on our pension board and served us very well over all those years. Well, before I was even on the police department, so. Yeah.
Jim, why don't you, thank you very much for your service, and I'd like you to accept this award on behalf of the village. And why don't you tell everybody about some of the accomplishments on the police pension board over the years?
Well, it goes back quite a few years. I was asked to serve for 1 year, and the next thing I know, it's 21 years. And it's grown quite a bit over the last 20 years, too. Not only fun, but the police department and all the services that they're providing. And I want to thank you for just having the opportunity to serve on the board, okay?
And I want to thank the board members for always trying to fund the pension fund like it needs to be funded. So that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, and they've done a good job on that over the years.
Yes.
So I want to thank you very much for the plaque, and I appreciate all your help, guys.
Okay. Okay, Mark, do you want to say a few words?
Okay. Do you have an ordinance number for this? One? Obviously, you guys are aware of the ordinance number 16-1, an ordinance naming the Village of Chatham's baseball South Park Diamond number 4, Bob Erickson Field. Just to read some of the highlights here. Whereas the village owns and operates South Park Diamond number 4 as a baseball field within the village, and whereas Charles Bob Erickson, a retired Village of Chatham employee, and whereas through his dedication, commitment, and integrity to his position, Charles Bob Erickson made many valuable contributions to the community. And whereas because of Charles Bob Erickson's diligent and faithful efforts in building and maintaining quality public parks and athletic fields, the community has greatly benefited. And whereas the corporate authorities of the Village of Chatham believe it is in the best interest of the village to officially name South Park Diamond number 4 as Bob Erickson Field.
And you always shot the ball and he never passed it. He's a good player now. So, but you guys, I mean, and you did such a wonderful job with that field, with the park. I mean, it wouldn't be what it was without you.
A lot of help.
No, but you're great, and you've been my friend for many years, and I really appreciate it. So, thank you, and I hope you're still gonna
work with us.
Do my best. I want to thank everybody who was involved in this. I know Casey got it started and the board jumped in, so I appreciate it, Mark, and everybody, Kenny, Nina. I know that everybody, Joe, Dave, everybody that got involved, Tommy. What we did was when we on Diamond 4, we worked equally hard on all the diamonds, but, hey, come on. But on Diamond 4, we thought, and that's Del and I and Meredith, we thought that it would be a feather in the cap of the village of Chatham if the varsity wanted to play there. Not had to play there, but wanted to play there. And so we made the field as good as we could, and we think it's the best field in the Central State 8. And there's many things that happened over the years that made us feel like it was the best thing in the best field. I see many good things happen there. The Diamond Kings, a lot of the Diamond Kings kids who played for me are here tonight. I appreciate that. They're the only travel team that all 9 kids started junior, senior year in high school at the varsity level. It's quite an accomplishment. Other things that happen there, little things like I umpire there, so it's kind of funny because I could be umpiring a varsity game this year and somebody could be giving me a hard time about umpiring on my own field. But a couple of years ago, I just want to tell you this real quick. A couple of years ago, Pat was in Pat movie was in a quandary because the varsity, it would come down to the end of the year, and it was close between Griffin and Chatham. And the weather was terrible, and it was the last week of the year, and they had games to make up on a Thursday and a Friday, and they had to play on a Wednesday night. Tuesday night, they played at Griffin on the turf, got smoked. In fact, I umpired the game, couldn't help them. After the game, Pat said, hey, Bob, whatever you can do, we have to play at home Wednesday night. We have to play at home. So I turned the lights on at midnight, threw some dust out on the field to absorb some moisture. Nick and I put 30 bags on the field during the day. We played before the game. Right before the game started, Nick's bailing water, Nick Frankie's bailing water out of the dugout, and the Griffin kids walked in, and this is the truth. Nick said, hey, I bet you guys wish you were playing at home. And what'd they say, Nick? No, we'd rather play here. This is the best field in the conference. So from that, we think it's the best because our kids get to practice here and play on the best field, and it makes them the best team. So this was an easy work for me to do, and my kids got to play there, and my grandkids are going to get to play there. It's great. I appreciate everything. Thank you very much.
We need a roll call vote.
Wait, hold on, Scott, what's that?
Okay, Pat, would you take the vote on the resolution?
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. North? Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Van Norris?
Yes.
Stoneman? And Mao?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Mayor, I think we have somebody else had an award they wanted to
The
present.
CBSI. Scott, do you have something you want to
Yes,
get, present
please.
to?
Oh,
Thank you.
So good evening, I'm Scott Curtis, and I'm here representing CBSI, the local youth baseball and softball organization, as well as 3 fine young men that representing the thousands of kids that have had an opportunity to play at the Chatham facility, but now Bob Erickson Field is pretty cool. So CBSI thanks the village leaders for recognizing Bob and his time and his efforts, and we also want to give Bob a small token of our appreciation, a bat from the CBSI board and the kids for all his efforts. Thank you.
Okay, moving along, the next item on the agenda is public comments. Would anybody care to address the village board this evening?
Hey,
Yes.
Pat.
Bonnie.
Bonnie Goodlick. Just a simple thing, with so much going on in this village, and all the conflict going on, everything being said on stupid Facebook, the threats and everything going out there, it's gotta stop soon, and the only way we can stop that, Mayor, is if we get information on it. We don't wanna turn into the episode of Flint. We don't wanna look like this. But out of me, my mouth to you, I am telling you that I have contacted Edgar County Watchdogs myself to ask them to investigate. They investigate several things within a village or a town if requested. And the only reason why I'm doing that is not to in any way disrespect you, Mayor, but we want answers. I don't want to spend my Tuesday night every night with you, every Tuesday night, sorry. I mean, you know, but something's got to be done. And I can't afford a lawyer. People talk about, you know, getting to the nitty gritty, getting to the fines, the figures and everything about this water plant. I don't want to worry. And so I am just telling you personally, so it's from me to you, that I am contacting the Edgar County Watchdogs to see if they can't come in and do some investigation because the doors are being closed on the village citizens. So thank you.
I did bring Mr. Burke in this evening, but would people like to make their comments and then Terry could give a report?
Well,
Yes.
I thought maybe I'd wait till after, but I'll go ahead first
Okay.
since it is public comment. I sent an email to everyone on the 19th of this month, and in there explained that South Sangamon received a violation notice from EPA. I just wanted to find out if that was shared with the village. Or, you know, not from me, but from our supplier. Was it, did anybody know?
I didn't receive an email.
I did not receive an email.
Well, from what I get from that is that we've had at least 3 violations in 2015. 1 non-compliance advisory and 2 violation notices. Not we, meaning Chatham, I mean South Sangamon. And I don't believe anybody knew, unless maybe I forwarded on some information, but the communication's not there. I've been saying this for over a year. I don't know how many boil orders there were in 2015. 3 that come to mind, and 1 was like a severe emergency that we really needed a backup water supply. But the citizens are tired of this learning curve that's going on out there. They should have it right by now, and they don't. We need to take measures to step away and clear ourselves from South Sangamon. I think no one in this town is confident that we're getting safe water. And that lack of consumer confidence because there was no proactive attempt to inform anyone initially of what was happening or any changes that were taking place. And there currently is no viable plan. We don't have a plan. We're reacting to everything that's going on out there. And I'm not talking about a plan for what if we don't have water. I'm talking about what if our copper levels continue to go up. Do we wait till we hit a maximum contaminant level and then react? Do we wait till we get a violation notice from EPA and then let them, you know, have a more learning curve to what's going on with the water? It's not rocket science, it's water treatment, and they don't have it right. They haven't had it right. We need to do something like step away.
Any further public comment?
I have some. I haven't been here for a while, so I figure I get extra minutes. I don't know if any of you read Time magazine, but there's an awesome article in February 1st regarding Flint. And the similarities to our problem here are pretty scary. I wanted to make sure you all had copies so you could see. It's pretty amazing
Thank you.
how everybody was blown off. They were told to relax. You want one? The water was great. It was their destiny. It was their future. They were going to save $19 million in 8 years. and we all know the problems that they have. I have highlighted some stuff which I find that is very similar to what the problems we have had here. Such as, they stopped buying water from Detroit, and $19 million over 8 years it's going to save the town. Residents start complaining about strange smells, odors, and color of their water. GM stops using the water because of the corrosiveness. We don't have a big plant like that to tell us we're not using the water anymore because of the corrosiveness. The chief of staff for the governor sends an email stating the citizens of Flint think they're basically being blown off. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? We're going to save all this money. We're going to create our own destiny. Sound familiar? Anybody heard that before? And now it's going to take $28 million. And I will say that the mayor, this Snyder, the governor, did offer apology and say, I am sorry, I will fix it. Anybody here heard that? It's uncanny, the similarities in this. And I urge you all to read it very closely and very carefully. We don't know whether the corrosiveness in our pipes is causing people to get sick. I will tell you, I had guests at my house for a week before Christmas. Bob went home with a rash on his back, and his wife Pam went home with a rash on her leg. They got to Florida, and she called me and said, well, since we got away from your house, we don't have any more rashes. He's having hip replacement surgery in April, and they're planning to spend time at my house. Now they're debating that because he's going to have a massive scar. He has to take a shower. He has to take a bath. That's kind of embarrassing to me that my friends can't come and stay because my water's bad. They can't take a shower in it. I do have...
That's 5 minutes.
Well, I have a couple more questions, and like I said, I'm out of time. I've been quiet. I have been very, very upset about the fact that some of the people that have opposed this water system and have been very vocal about it have been threatened. They've been threatened that they will file lawsuits against them. They don't care if they win or not. Their plans are to bankrupt the family. It has gotten to the point where their kids, comments have been made to their kids in school, and the parents have tried.
Jeff, is this appropriate? This isn't about the village. This is really a law enforcement matter.
Excuse me, this is about the village. This is about the village because somebody who is speaking out against the village for the mess we have of water is being threatened. It is about the village.
I don't think our public comment rules have limitations on what can and can't be talked about.
But we are at the
do have a
5-minute plus mark.
If the board wants to enforce that rule, I don't know if you want to, if you can try and.
I'm almost done. I think it is the responsibility of you, the mayor, to put an editorial in the Clarion stating that this kind of conduct will not be tolerated in this village. We have a huge, huge water problem here. We've been lied to and everything else. And no transparency, nobody knows, none of you know what's going on. And for people to object and say their opinion out and then to be threatened like that, it's your job as the mayor to stop it.
Jeff, will you contact the FBI and the state's attorney and take her statement to them? Because I don't have any involvement with that, and I
You're the
don't think
mayor
it's
of this,
appropriate.
you're the mayor of this village.
That is, you know what, Terry,
You're the mayor of this village. It's your job. You were elected to protect this community and take care of this community.
Jeff.
You haven't done it.
Terry, do you want to give us an update?
Good evening. There's not a whole lot, is that right? Yeah. Not a whole lot to update since the October meeting. The sodium permanganate permit went into EPA November 10th, and to date, we still do not have that permit. There was 3 questions that EPA reviewed and got back to us a couple weeks ago. Those comments have been sent back to them. We're still waiting on that. We can't make any changes at the plant till we get that permit in hand, which will allow us to use the sodium permanganate to see if it will lower our manganese levels. So that hasn't changed since the October meeting. We have had 3 boil orders to address Jules' question this past year. All 3 of them dealt with the PLC system out there. The PLC system has since been rebuilt, and a backup manual system has been put in place to keep, hopefully, those things from happening. She mentioned the violations. I'm not for sure what violation is the one that you just got. Was it the hydrostatic tank pressure?
Lack of adequate storage.
It's the hydrostatic tank
Yeah.
pressure one, which they wanted 3 dates. We gave them the dates. That got sent in today by certified mail to them. Worked with Paul Conley on that. We'd already submitted the plans to EPA for review for a hydrostatic tank, so we can get off of the restricted list.
The violation was, I think it was November.
So November, you just sent out a letter today?
It was January 25th. Well, there was one in November. We responded to them in December. They reviewed it and sent it out, and it went in today. It had 30 days on it, and we got it last Tuesday. Well, that's the guy that walked in during the meeting. He walked in the hallway. That was the sign for the EPA. So that, we just got it a week ago today.
And what did the repairs cost that you said were done?
What repairs?
You just said that there were repairs done, correct?
No.
To the PLC system.
The PLC system,
PLC?
yeah, $38,000.
$38,000.
But they allow for those things.
Okay.
Terry, I have a question. One of the major things that, you know, they talk about when they talk about pollution, this is the lead levels in the water. Where are lead levels? And are they high? Are they concerning? Is EPA concerned? Should we be concerned when we turn our faucet on and drink the water that we're gonna get lead poisoning here in Chatham, Illinois?
The Water Commission has to test for water, or for lead and copper on a timely basis and report that annually to EPA. We had a meeting right here Monday morning with EPA. And it wasn't regarding that, it was regarding Springfield as your backup water supply. But we asked, do you have any concerns with our water versus Flint? And Dave Cook kind of grinned and explained what had happened up in Michigan and how the department up there failed to do their job. But he says, no, you don't have anything to worry about. There's several communities for years that pull off the same aquifer. Now that's from the plant. Now Dustin, he has to test here locally, and I don't know how many houses he pulls from, but he has to get his own samples. We have to pull from 5 houses between the water plant and Chatham, and that's what we report to EPA. But no, the lead and copper is nothing to be worried about, and Mr. Cook just grinned and said, no, you don't have anything to worry about.
What are the numbers? Do you
Terry,
know?
I got a copy of our results from 2013, 2014, and so far, or for 2015. In 2013, they required us to do 60 samples, and the lead level measured was .0015, and an action level is .015. In 2014, we did 2 sets of tests, or we did a set of tests there, also 6. Our measured level was .0027, and the action level was .015, so those are both below that level. In 2015, the lead test, they allowed us, because we had good results, to lower that test number down to 30. The measured amount was 0 on December 31st, 2015, and once again, the action level is 0.15. So over the last 3 years, we've met all of EPA's requirements on the number of tests, and all have been below their action level.
Well, I don't mean any disrespect to any of you two that are speaking right now. I really don't. But if you're meeting in this area with EPA, are the citizens able to come to that meeting? It's no offense to you guys, but I really want to start hearing it from the EPA. And if Mr. Cook is from the EPA and he's grinning during a meeting, that doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence.
Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't give you a lot of confidence, but no, his meetings are not open to the public.
And that's wrong.
That's just the way
But
it is.
didn't the lead levels go up each year?
It went up a very small amount from 13 to 14, but then it dropped down from 14 to 15.
Do we have an explanation or what could have caused that increase of, looks like .14 or .0014 or 12 over that year?
They're gonna vary from year to year. I mean, we tested 60 houses, went down to 30, different times a year. It's gonna vary. It's never the same. Copper's different, lead's different. I'm gonna go out again at the end of this year, do another set of 30. If we pass that, then we go on every 3 years we test. So far it's been great. We're under the action level, right where we need to be. It's not, growing. The numbers are getting bigger every single year, so we're doing good.
And that was going to be my question. That's from houses here in Chatham?
Yes.
Yes. We've had the same sites for many years that someone else has set up. So we follow the same plan. They just reduced us down. We went into increased monitoring because we switched to the new plan. And once we get through that series of tests, they put us back on the reduced monitoring of 33.
And those houses are scattered all throughout the village?
All the sites are approved through the EPA.
Okay, so EPA has to approve where we're getting those tests?
Yes.
Of all those houses, how many of them have complained about problems with the water?
I mean, I wouldn't know that.
I just want to add something here to the discussion. I mean, we've heard theory after theory of why we have poor water quality. We've heard about the additional costs it's going to take to fix the water quality, and the citizens are going to bear that cost. And as I sit here, we're going on almost year 4, and we don't really have an explanation. I think it's time we start exploring a strategic default on these bonds, because I honestly think it'd be cheaper to pay off the bonds, accept that loss, and switch back to CWLP.
Yes.
And I think we should open up that for discussion.
Yes. I agree.
You have the records from when we were on CWLP, their different lead levels and copper levels, and to kind of compare and look at
I think like
our lead
like
versus
Dustin
their
said,
lead.
that number is going to vary, and we can't speak for CWLP, but I don't know.
I mean, just when we were a customer, I mean, how much concern we, or not concerned, but how much of a danger we were in then as compared to now?
We still had lead then. I mean, you're going to have it every time. The key is to be under the action level, and we're not even close to the action level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can go get those reports from years ago, and if you guys want to see them, I can have those for you.
I have them right here. I mean, between 2013 and 14, it jumped up both lead and copper, not above the action level, but yeah, a slight increase. you know, from this year's sampling, it looks like it's gone back down, and that could be because maybe they have a handle on their corrosion control chemical feed now. I don't know, but I don't think it has been under control the last several years, and, you know, we see that on our faucets, on our aerators, you know, it's scaled but corroded at the same time. And that corrosion can contribute to the increasing number that we're seeing in lead and copper.
And I want to piggyback on that. I don't think we're getting the answers that we need from the South Salem Water Commission. I continue to see the only answers I have when I have responses, the emails I get from Jewel. And thank God she's coming out there, because there's no communication besides what she's saying and telling me what's going on. And to me, that's frustrating when I'm trying to communicate with people on a regular basis of what's going on. You know, I know you mentioned you don't use email, but if not, we need to find someone to represent us that is doing that. And if we just continue to have the same problem, same communication problems, same issues, and I think it's just to have that update to our board to say, hey, this is what's going on. Yes, it's an extra step, but that's what our community does. We do an extra step. We didn't just pay respect to somebody because he didn't do extra steps. That's what we want. We want the extra step. So if we're not going to get it from South Salem Water Commission, then yeah, we need to look at a different avenue, because that's what we're supposed to do here in Chatham, is give the extra step.
Trustee Landhurst, our meetings are open to the public.
I understand.
This is Judd.
But I'm making
and
sure that I
Joe.
run a business so that I can
Well-
support the community as well.
Well, have
Okay,
you
yes.
ever contacted me with a complaint since you've been on board? Really? Have you ever contacted me?
I tried in the meeting, you guys want to answer all the questions when we had the open meeting.
Have you any other complaint?
Terry, I don't think we need to get into a
Well,
pissing match between the two of you.
No,
We've asked you time
you,
and time
Mr. Morrow,
again, we've
also.
asked you time and time again to come and give reports. The board has. We've asked the mayor to ask you to come time and time again to give reports. The communication is non-existent, okay? It's not there, okay? I agree with Trustee Clayton. Not only should we be looking at strategic default to get out of this debacle, we should be looking at if there are any legal remedies in terms of breaches of contract, things that were not met between South Sangamon Water Commission and the Village of Chatham at the time that we signed up for this mess, that would help alleviate some of that cost and go back and possibly seek a damages suit against the South Sangamon Water Commission for this.
Taxes are not paid for. There's not enough money there.
Okay.
So where does that leave us, Mayor? Three
It's,
trustees?
well, you know what, you keep saying that, you imply that I'm filling a position like the mayor of Chicago or the mayor of Springfield. Village president doesn't have the power like that. So it's really up to the trustees. If they want to default on a loan, I mean, they would have the board, if they vote, that's where it would go, but that has legal ramifications.
Who had the authority to approve the building of this?
The board did.
The board
The
did.
board did.
Okay.
That I sat on, the board did.
And I know, Matt, you're gonna tell us that you didn't vote on it, good for you, okay? Let's not go politics here. But who makes the
No,
decision
well, go
that
back.
you're gonna give, you're
That
gonna
was-
give Southside Water Commission $38,000 to fix this, $1.6 million to fix this? Who makes that decision? The board?
That's their
South
board.
Sangamon
That's
Water
their board.
Commission.
Where's the money come from?
From the
Where's
water
the money
rates.
come from?
Every gallon of water we sell.
Out of our pockets. Out of our pockets. What are we paying right now, water rates, compared to what was promised? Are we 4 years in advance on this water rate?
More like 40.
More like 40, but
40, okay, there you go. You know, and that's what we can't take. My faucets weren't corroded, my appliances weren't ruined when we were with City Water Line Power.
I
So
think
with that-
we've exhausted this discussion. I think in the next committee meeting, you guys can talk about defaulting on the bond issues, but
Well, not just that, I've asked legal counsel in front of this board to look into, you know, the issue of breaches of contract, you know, and I know it takes some time, and, you know, these are things that, you know, really have to be examined, but I really think, Mr. Mayor, since the board and yourself is the leader of this village, I think you should direct the legal counsel to start to explore those options, you know, even further.
well, if you the legal counsel to do that. That's the board's prerogative.
It's not me, Mr. Mayor, it's the board. I mean, you're the leader of the village. You were
No,
elected.
no, there's 7 people up here that are.
You were elected as the mayor. You set the policy, or supposed to set the policy.
No, that
is supposed
isn't
to be your
Jeff,
position.
would you explain the village trustee, mayor form of government? Do I have those powers?
I told you.
Everything is with your appointment with the advice and consent of the board. So therefore, you
Yeah.
push it forward first, and we have to advise and consent.
Yes, as it relates to the attorney, I can take direction however you guys want to set it up. If you want to set it up from the mayor, if you want to set it up from the board, I can do it however you want to do it. The past direction has been for us to prepare a report to review all the documents. We have been doing that. In all honesty, since the last meeting, we've done some FOIAs to the IEPA. We've got some additional documents. We can continue to work on that report and finish that. And then perhaps, as you say, at a future committee of the whole, report back on that. So that's a process we've actually already started, and we can just complete that.
Yeah, I think that's the right route to go, is finish this report and then make sure it's given out to everyone and everyone has a copy of it.
Timeline?
Online, yeah, absolutely.
When is this going to be accomplished?
We can report back on it at the next, status of it at the next committee of the whole meeting.
Which would be in 2 weeks?
It's in February, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Jeff, this report is on exactly what is it?
I apologize, I was trying to, it basically goes through the various history of this transaction, looks at the initial contracts, all of the subsequent documents. It's got a timeline of everything that happened with regards to the establishment and the construction of the water plant, looks at the various construction documents, and it just is kind of a in-depth analysis of everything that's transpired with this.
And then your legal opinion on those documents and agreements, right?
Yes, to the extent that's.
And you report back to the committee as whole?
It's a report, it's in draft right now, but it's a report that would be given to the village board, and then they can release, as they see fit.
Is there an explanation in there as to why this was never brought before the people of the village to approve?
There is.
And why it was done that way?
There is. Well, it's hard for us to determine why it was done that way, but it was done in accordance with the law, with the bonding requirements at the
We
time.
know all the people involved, ask them.
Well, and we did, it's part of what the bonding and referendum requirements were. So, but yes, the report talks about that whole history as well.
Well, I can't read that, but.
Okay, moving along, can I have a motion to put the consent agenda on the table for consideration? Do we have a second?
Second.
Questions? Changes to the minutes?
Who was the second, please?
I think Dave was.
Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Lenhorst?
Yes.
Brown? And Scarlett?
Yes.
Okay, old business, setting the ordinance setting the administrative assistant's salary. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, I just think this is so, without getting into personnel matters off base, time and time again, we've talked about accountability, we've talked about the different things in that back room about, misappropriation of funds, misuse of public funds, various improprieties, and yet again, we come down to the 1 yard line, and you forget BYOG, you forget to bring your own guts, and it's frustrating for me to go in the sense because it's perpetuating problem after problem and kicking that problem down the road, not addressing the problem. And this ordinance to me is not conducive to good government.
Okay, further discussion?
First off, I think there's 2 issues we are missing. We are not holding somebody accountable, which is something I ran on and promised. And secondly, we've taken someone out of a leadership role, and now we're going to have to pay somebody for that role, and we currently already are. And we made no reduction in salary because of that. So, that's my
Okay, any further discussion? Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
No.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
No.
Lindhorst?
No.
Mal? Yes. Joe?
Yes.
The mayor has to vote yes.
Yes.
Yeah, same old tune, different day.
Okay, ordinance or resolution approving the reduction in security for Hurstbourne 7. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion. Pat, this is ready to go, right? Yep.
Who was the
Okay.
first and second?
I was first, and Matt was second, I believe.
Okay, Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Lindhorst?
Yes.
Mal? Yes. Stoneman?
Yes.
Okay, is the backup water supply agreement with Springfield on
It is not
hold?
ready.
Okay,
Springfield did a review and gave us back some comments, and I didn't get a chance to run it by Jeff. We'll have it for your board meeting
Okay.
next week.
okay, the Beck property annexation agreement. Can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
This piece of property is on the southeast corner of County Road and Illinois Route 4. It's where the Goldenrod crossing's coming through. Mr. Beck wants to annex it to the village, and he's asking for a zoning of B2. It's gone through the planning commission, no exceptions. We had a public hearing earlier this evening, there was no exceptions. It's ready for approval.
Okay. Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Lindhorst?
Yes.
Mal? Yes. Stoneman?
Yes.
The planning commission vacancy. Who was,
Tell me where it was
Todd
there.
Missile.
Todd Missile.
Todd Missile is being appointed to the commission.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Who was the first and second?
First.
Pat, who was the second?
Dave.
Dave.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Okay, Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Lindhorst?
Yes.
Mal? Yes. Stoneman?
Yes.
An ordinance approving the emergency response support signage for the multi-use trails.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Is that Dave?
Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Is that an ordinance or resolution? Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Lindhorst? Mal? Yes. Stoneman?
Yes.
Are we doing the ordinance transferring appropriation authority?
We are.
Okay.
Line item transfers.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Again, what were we specifically transferring? What for?
Sherry?
Sherry, just a quick breakdown.
Between line items at this time to offset items that are projected to go over budget or close to going over budget. The original proposed appropriation was a supplemental appropriation that since we come over 1 year, we're going to hold on to that in April. So this is just going to fix things until April.
So we will be able to transfer again in April?
In
Okay.
April, okay.
Okay. You do supplementals.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Lindhorst?
Yes.
Mal? Yes. Stoneman?
Yes.
Updating the utility deposit policy ordinance.
That's the ordinance that we discussed last committee meeting, that it's part of the overall customer service manual, but we wanted to get it on board because that seemed to be causing the most problems with residents that live within the village and were coming back in to move to another place in the village. So you looked at the verbiage last week and we incorporated in the business verbiage that trustee Lindhorst had requested, and it's ready for passage this evening.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kimsey? Yes. Boyle?
Yes.
Linhart?
Yes.
Mal?
Yes.
And Scott?
Yes.
Okay, what do we, what,
It's deducted from the current bill.
So they can't go up and get a check for it?
Their next bill, if they had $300 in
That's what
there.
it was?
Okay, and if their utility bill is $150, they won't get a utility, they'll get a utility bill that'll show a balance due to 0. And then the next month, if it's $150, you'll get a utility bill with a balance 0. Still that $300.
Do they have to notify you about that, or do you have record of that?
We have record of all the people that have come in and gave us a deposit. They're all on hand.
okay,
That's not what somebody was told.
okay, do we have to do anything with the customer service manual, the draft one?
We promised you guys that we would have that out there for review. It's out there for the next 2 weeks. If you could get, if you want to get comments to us beforehand, if you're looking at it, shoot us some emails of those, or your thoughts on how we approach some of those items. On the administrators, we have left comments outside fields of some areas that we'd like a little clarification and stuff. And if anybody wants to call and ask me questions or Sherry directly, we can try to answer your questions and stuff. If there's any comments from the public and stuff, feel free to give us a call, give us an email or something like that. It's on board docs, it's available to look at there.
Okay, Pat, do you have anything else to report this evening?
I have 2 quick items. One of them, the American Legion requested the use of the square, June 12th is when they're, or June 9th through June 12th. Is that right?
For the homecoming?
Yeah. 6th through the 12th, it looks like, with setup and tear down. So, are we going to charge them? I couldn't remember. Do we not? Do we charge?
We've done those by resolution.
That's what I thought, when they come in for the liquor license. So we went ahead and put it in the reservation system, but we haven't charged them anything. Thing I want to hand out here pretty quickly is we had a developer come in, and they're talking about possibly developing the area in front of Breckenridge, at Breckenridge Road, and just a little bit north of Monarch Drive. They're proposing putting an apartment complex there with, the caveat is, the name on the lease has to be 55 or older. They have come in here and had one discussion with me and Ryan, and they have met with the Breckenridge Homeowners Association, and I think they have future plans to meet with Breckenridge Homeowners Association to see if they have any differences and stuff like that. But they haven't made a formal request or anything like that, but I wanted to let the board know that it's at least in the exploratory sections.
Okay.
We also have had inquiries on Cobblestone Inn and Suites of possibly building a hotel here in Chatham.
Okay, let's see, Pat, schedule of meetings.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you want me to do them, okay. A special committee of the whole, February 9th, that'll be for interviews. Then we'll have the committee of the whole on February 9th, and then we'll have a special village board meeting for interviews on February 23rd, and then the regular village board meeting on February 23rd.
And just if I could ask the board, on February 23rd, I think Angela's actually got to be at a seminar out of town. If you want to be consistent and have her at all the interviews, we can change that to another date, or if you want me to fill in, move it to a different one.
No, let's just move forward, yeah, let's keep going. I think we've sat way too long on this process.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to go into executive session for unreleased executive session minutes and
personnel.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Second. You plan to do any action?
No action after.
All right. Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey? Yes. Doyle?
Yes.
Horst?
Yes.
Mal?
Yes.
Yes.